My name is Doris. I am 91 years old. My husband and I were married 40 years, and we never once shared a bedroom. Not one night. 40 years. Every soul in that town had a theory about it, and every last one of them was wrong. I never corrected a single person. I am going to correct all of them right now. September of 1954. Vern was 26, working the grain elevator in Hutchinson, Kansas. He fell about 30 feet onto a concrete floor and broke his back in 2 places. We were already engaged, had been since April. The doctors said he would never walk. He walked. Took him 11 months, and he walked with a cane, badly, and he walked that way the rest of his life. But he could not lie down flat, not ever. He slept propped up on a wedge, and if that mattress so much as shifted under him, the pain would take the top of his head off. So that was that. 2 bedrooms. Everybody told me to get out. My own mother sat me down at her kitchen table and said, "Doris, you are 19 years old, and not one person would hold it against you." My mother said that to me. The preacher told me to consider my future. That is how he put it. Consider your future. I married Vern in June of 1955. I was 20. He stood at that altar leaning on a cane, and I have never for 1 minute been sorry. Now here is the part nobody knows, and it is the only part that matters. Every night of our married life at 9 o'clock, that man came to my door. He could not lean on the frame, it hurt him. So he stood square in the doorway with both hands on that cane, and he waited until I looked up at him. And he said 2 words, "Still here." That was it. Still here. Then he went back down the hall to his room. Every night, 40 years. I did the arithmetic once and quit doing it because it comes to better than 14,000 nights, and it made me cry in a grocery store parking lot. Now I know what you are sitting there wondering, because the whole town wondered it for 40 years, and only 2 people were ever rude enough to ask me straight out. We had a daughter, Carol Jean, born in 1959. So you can do your own arithmetic on that and then kindly leave it alone. What I will tell you is this. Whatever happened between that man and me happened because we drove to it on purpose. Nothing was ever accidental. Nothing in 40 years ever happened just because 2 people rolled over in the dark and were both awake. Now let me tell you about my cousin Eileen, because Eileen is the whole point of this. Eileen married a whole man, tall, good-looking, back straight as a board. Everybody said Eileen did well, and poor Doris got stuck. Eileen slept 18 inches from that man for 51 years. 18 inches. And I do not believe he said goodnight to her one time in all of it. Not once. She told me that herself in 1988 at a church supper, and then she laughed like it was funny. 51 years, 18 inches, and she was lonelier than I ever was in my whole life. You can lie right up against somebody and be nowhere near them. If any of this is landing on you, do me a kindness and press the like button And subscribe if you would care to sit with me again. And tell me in the comments where you are watching from. The town, the state, the country. At 91, it is a peculiar comfort to know these words are getting to real people in real places. Now, there was one night he did not come. October of 1971. 9 o'clock went by. 1:15. I told myself he was reading. I found him at 10 minutes to midnight on the hallway floor, halfway between his door and mine. He had gone down about 8:30, and he could not get himself up, and he would not call out. I said, "Vern, why in the name of God did you not holler for me?" And he said, "I did not want you to be scared." I got him up. Took the both of us 45 minutes, and I am not going to tell you how it looked, because it was not dignified, and he would not want me telling it. And after that night I changed the rule. I told him, from here on, if you do not come to me by 10 after 9, I am coming to you. And I want you to know I am not asking. He did not like it. He was a proud man, and he had already lost most of what a man that age puts his pride in. But he agreed to it, and for the next 24 years, some nights he came to my door, and some nights I came to his, and neither one of us ever kept score about which was which. That is a marriage. That right there. That is the whole thing. He died in March of 1995, 67 years old, his heart, not his back. The last week I moved a cot into his room. 40 years, and the first night I ever slept in that man's bedroom was the week he was dying. I laid there in the dark listening to him breathe, and I thought, well, would you look at that? Look what it took. The last night he was awake enough to know anything, he could not talk. Nothing left. But it was about 9 o'clock, and I could see him working at something, trying to get his mouth around it. So I got up off that cot, and I went and stood in his doorway, square, with my hands folded, the way he used to stand in mine. And I said, "Still here, Vern," and he shut his eyes. And that was the last thing that passed between us in this world. Now I want to say 2 things, and then I will let you go. The first one, everybody in that town looked at my marriage from the outside and decided it was a sad thing. 40 years they thought that. They were looking at the wrong thing. They were counting bedrooms. Do not ever let a person tell you what your marriage is worth from the outside of the house. They cannot see the hallway. The hallway is where everything happens. The second one, and this is the one I would carve on something if I could, a marriage is not a feeling you have. A marriage is a thing you do at 9 o'clock, whether you feel like it or not. We had every excuse in the world to drift. 2 rooms, 2 doors, a hallway between us, and a man in constant pain who had every right to shut that door and stay behind it. It would have been the easiest thing on earth for us to become 2 people who happened to share an address. We did not, because every single night one of us got up and walked down that hall. That is not romance. That is not what they sell you in the pictures. It is better. It is a decision made 14,000 times by 2 people who were tired. If you have stayed with me this long, then you and I are made of the same stuff. Press that like button and subscribe, because there will be more of these. And tell me in the comments where you are watching from, and tell me one more thing while you are at it. Tell me the small thing somebody did for you every single day without ever making a speech about it. I would love to read those. I read every one. And tonight, go tell somebody good night. Not on the telephone. Go stand where they can see your face and say it out loud. This has been Doris, 91 years old, 40 years married, 2 bedrooms, and 1 hallway I would walk again tomorrow. Goodbye now.